This is what the final board setup looks like. Now we'll talk about how it's done in different phases. One of the first steps is to get the cyclorama in the background so we can see how the lighting looks on it.
Curtain aside, and we use the second blue curtain. For this, I just go all the way around and get it out of the way. And then that's the one we actually use, the second one. And I always aim it so the middle seam is right between these two posts.
All right, the middle seam between those two lights. And now Mark has gotten up the ladder. And what the light you're adjusting, Mark, how are you adjusting it? What is your goal?
Well, to get uniform illumination on the upper part of the drape.
Okay.
And to not direct the lights down so that they shine on the posts.
That sounds good.
Right, so I always set them so that the line hits right here in front of the curtain. There's a little line that'll show up when that's basically the edge of where the light is illuminating.
Well, that's cool.
I always aim for just maybe a foot in front of the curtain.
Could one of you guys describe the locking mechanism of the ladder? So there's a little foot thing there. You just click it on and up with your foot, huh?
Mark should demonstrate.
All right.
Which he will, I guess, when he gets to the right spot.
Mark is about to lock the ladder, I think.
To set the ladder, you step on the first, put a lot of weight on the first step, or
Okay.
you can also push down on that little.
All right.
And to raise it, you press down on that thing, and now it can move.
Okay. And is this light similar? Your same criteria for adjusting this light?
All of these lights, there are 6 lights that are used to illuminate the drapes.
Okay. And here's what the backdrop looks like so far. I'm going to stand back a bit. Or cyclorama, rather.
What we're going to do is we're going to direct these 2 corner lights to sort of illuminate the sides of the hosts. But in order to get that done, we need to set up the table and the chairs, and maybe have somebody sit in the chairs to help us determine whether the lights are shining at them. Backlights first, so that we no longer have to maneuver the ladder around the table.
Okay, so this table's positioned to be even with this gap here on the wall. There's little sound baffles, and there's a gap there where you can see the bricks.
Okay, sort of the darker rectangular thing in the background, sort of in line with that, yeah.
Right. But
Okay.
actually, it's a little. We used to center it on there, but now we pull it up a little farther so the back of the table is even with the back line of that.
I see. And with regard to the other dimension over here, what are you doing? You're just centering it on the seam or something, or?
Yeah, we center it.
Okay.
It seems a little off. I center it with this right in the middle of
The 2 lights?
the 2 lights.
I see, okay.
You can point. You're going to turn down the drape lights and turn up the corner lights so that we can point them better. And it's going to get dark. John, would you like to serve as a model?
Sure. You're going to want to pull out the.
Like
yeah.
that, yeah.
There you go. And,
Sometimes it's necessary to remove a filter by
and then you can just fold that clip back down.
detaching the 4 clips that holds the filter on. We prefer not to have any filters during our show. Here, John is acting as a model so that Mark can adjust one of the corner lights.
And John can give feedback on whether the corner light is pointing directly at him.
It's hard for me to tell since it's behind me, but you want it to kind of be shining down on the back of my head.
So John?
Well, it's definitely illuminating half your head.
John, is this pointing, if you look at it, is it pointing pretty much right at you?
I guess so.
Okay, I think it is.
Okay.
All right, so we've got that corner light right, it seems.
And we do the same thing for the other corner light.
Okay. Example of filters that we need to remove from the lights. We want white light with no coloring added to it. We've adjusted the drape lights and the corner lights, and there's two sets of lights remaining. Now is four lights that are kind of diffuse, and the two.
Those are the floodlights, right? We gotta point those carefully.
That is, the four rectangular lights are somewhat diffuse, and they're used to illuminate the hose. Four diffuse lights are adjusted by illuminating the table symmetrically. So, for example, now I'm standing from the perspective of the host roughly. I'm standing between where the host would be, and it should be roughly symmetrical. Here, both the floodlights and the rectangular diffuse lights are on. The two floodlights, the two bright circular lights, there's one for each host. They can either crisscross or not. Here, John is illustrating what fully set up lights look like. This is after the initial process, and maybe some additional iterations of adjusting lights. But as you can see, the lights are, it's evenly distributed and there aren't distinct shadows. And I'll back up a bit so you can see what the lighting looks like throughout the set. And you can sort of see how both the table, John is illuminated, as well as the backdrop, etc. And that roughly is setting up the lights.